Prepare yourself for a shocking revelation that will send shivers down your spine. Did you know that there have been numerous instances of unethical human experimentation right here in the United States? Yes, you heard that right. These experiments were conducted without the knowledge or consent of the subjects involved, many of whom were children, the sick, and the mentally disabled. But first, let's dive into the different types of these experiments that have been conducted. While some subjects were exposed to chemical and biological weapons, others were victims of radiation experiments, injections of toxic and radioactive chemicals, and even surgical experiments. Some were subjected to mind-altering substance tests, all under the guise of medical treatment. These experiments targeted the most vulnerable, the poor, racial minorities, and prisoners. But the most disturbing fact is that many of these experiments violated U.S. law. They were often sponsored by government agencies or private corporations involved in military activities. These human research programs were secretive, conducted without the knowledge or authorization of Congress. Now let's uncover the entities responsible for these unethical practices. Some of the most notorious experiments were conducted by government agencies, such as the Central Intelligence Agency, and private corporations involved in military activities. These organizations operated in the shadows, conducting their experiments without public knowledge or congressional oversight. One of the most infamous examples is Operation Paperclip, a secret U.S. government project that brought over 1,600 Nazi scientists, engineers, and technicians, many of whom were former members and leaders of the Nazi Party, to the United States for employment in the aftermath of World War II. These individuals were instrumental in the development of rocket technology and other scientific advancements in the United States. Under the umbrella of Operation Paperclip, the CIA launched one of its most controversial programs, Project MK-Ultra. This program used American citizens as test subjects in experiments involving mind control, chemical interrogation, and other forms of psychological torture. LSD, a potent hallucinogen, was one of the many substances administered to unsuspecting subjects in these experiments. As we delve deeper into the murky past of unethical human experimentation, it's important to remember that the story might not end there. Today, there are ongoing black budget operations. These are classified projects funded by the U.S. government, often related to defense and intelligence. These operations are shrouded in secrecy, with little to no oversight from the public or governmental bodies. This lack of transparency makes it extremely difficult to uncover any potential unethical practices. With advancements in technology, especially in the fields of genetics and artificial intelligence, the potential for misuse has never been greater. Let's look at a hypothetical scenario. Imagine a black budget operation studying the effects of a new, untested drug on human subjects, or an interrogation technique that pushes the boundaries of human rights. How about genetic modifications carried out without the subject's consent or the use of artificial intelligence to manipulate human behavior? The possibilities are as endless as they are frightening. As we move forward, we must remain vigilant and continue to question the ethics of our scientific and military endeavors. We owe it to the past victims of unethical experimentation and to ourselves to ensure that history does not repeat itself. In summary, the United States has a dark history of conducting unethical human experimentation. From exposure to chemical and biological weapons to mind-altering substance tests, these experiments were conducted on the most vulnerable members of society, often in violation of U.S. law. Government agencies and private corporations were often the culprits behind these experiments, operating in secrecy and without congressional oversight. The legacy of these experiments lives on today in the form of Operation Paperclip and Project MK-Ultra, reminders of a time when human rights and ethical considerations were cast aside in the pursuit of scientific advancement and military dominance. As we close, remember this: the truth is often stranger and darker than fiction, and in the case of unethical human experimentation in the United States, the truth is a chilling testament to the lengths some will go to in the name of progress.